What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here from Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur, coming back to you guys with another quick video. Probably not so quick because it is Sunday, which means that is Sunday stock watch, of course. Just making sure that the stream is going to be doing all right, which it seems it is right before we get going. And also, first and foremost, I just want to apologize. I did seem to catch a little bit of whatever my girlfriend had. It sounded like she had influenza B, and my throat and head has just been kind of throbbing the last day or so. It's not quite as bad as hers was. She threw up and everything else. Hopefully I don't get to that point. But so if my voice kind of sounds a little groggy or something, it's not because I just woke up, I promise that. But yeah, just want to apologize for that ahead of time. But anyways, as you can see, for those of you that have been watching me for a while, I changed up my stock watch list quite a bit. I did away with the penny stock watch list, essentially because, as you all know, in one of my most recent videos, I talked about how I'm pretty much done for the most part with penny stocks. As you can see, I have a few here. Fitbit, technically penny stock at under $5 again. OTIC, another one. But Acre, BPMX, Seed. Obviously, I did very poorly on Seed at the beginning of last week, but I'll talk about why. I went ahead and put it back in my active watching watch list here. By what I mean by active watching is just stocks I'm intrigued by that I think might have a potential for some kind of swing trade, or even just a possible quick day trade for 2 to 10% maybe potential profit. Snapchat not so much. That'd be more of a swing trade, obviously. But with BPMX, Seed, and Acre, I see those as potential day trades. I definitely do not suggest swing trading penny stocks, just from my experience. I would never hold a penny stock overnight. I learned that the hard way. But yeah, let me go ahead and make sure that we are still doing all right. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get right to it, guys. Why I have /GC pulled up. Well, this is the gold futures for those of you that don't know, and it pretty much correlates. It goes hand in hand with JDST and JNUG. Pretty much as GC goes down, JDST is going to go up. So as you can see, JDST /GC, it reached a high of like 1351 as of late, and that is why JDST had obviously fallen below $52. And what I was looking for is just a confirmation. As you can see, it kind of started dipping on early this morning, or no, not this morning, that's today. About an hour ago, it started really, I talked about it on, I think yesterday, actually, either yesterday or Friday, that we saw this dip, but that I wanted to wait for a confirmation that it's going to go ahead and keep going down. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to sell my JDST shares because I'm averaging, like what I tell you guys, like 56 a share. I don't have my Robinhood pulled up right now, but the good sign is that /GC looks to really be getting ready to take this dip back down. The only thing I'm looking for is a possible bounce off of the SMA indicator right here, this green line. It's kind of been acting as a support of late. So let me go ahead and back out a little bit here, just the 5-day, see if that's a continuous trend. So yeah, I mean, it's really kind of just, as you see, every time it go below that SMA indicator, it would get rejected and go right back up. I wouldn't say get rejected, it would just bounce off of it essentially. So that's definitely something to look out for. And as you can see here, it got close to it, went right back off of it. So hopefully, as you can see, it's still showing that it's pretty close to being overbought. So yeah, I'm just kind of quote unquote hoping for the best. And gold is kind of high right now in general, so I do think we are going to see it go ahead and drop back down at least below this 1348 mark. This really might act as a support right here around 1348, but I look for it to go ahead and possibly have a pretty decent sized sell-off. But it's just something to be on the lookout for with JDST. It just might show that now might potentially be a good time for JDST. Wow, I don't know if you guys are keeping up with March Madness, but apparently Duke and Kansas are going to overtime. That's pretty cool. But I do look for some sort of a sell-off at some point, but hopefully if it could be like this big, that'd be awesome. But not a fortune teller or anything, just something to be on the lookout for. For you guys, I would not suggest to really get into JDST right now. However, I would wait for a full-fledged confirmation that is going to go on back down. Wait for it to not bounce off of this SMA indicator. There really has not been nothing of late of the last 5 days that would show that it is going to go ahead and go below that, or that the SMA indicator is going to start going back down, one of the two. I mean, there's just bold patterns all over this chart. I mean, look, you got one right here, boom, went up, got one right here, kept going up, got one right here, actually we had a little bear right there and it went down. But I mean, there's just bull patterns all over this. Let me see here. So we'll go ahead and look at JDST, since I talked about how it goes hand in hand with JNUG. So looky here, JDST had a pretty decent sell-off. Went from $54 all the way down to $49.97. How big is that? We're talking, wow, can't even see it. Let's just do it right here. So you're talking, still can't see it. Good job. Oh well. Well, you're talking a really decent drop, to say the least. Come on now. But yeah, so I mean, even if you would have got in like $50, went ahead and traded yours off at 53, you're looking at how big of a profit? $3 divided by 50 bucks. You're looking at 6%, which I would not have suggested anyone get in at that point, because obviously it made like new lows as of late. So like you never want to invest as it's like going down, but could it be starting to trend back up? Yes. Obviously my alerts are way up here. I'm still wanting to sell around $60. That is still my target point, and I think we will see it hit $60. Will it be this week? I'm hoping so for sure. I really don't like holding any stock longer than a week, you guys know, just because I'm looking to keep on making that 5% a day. 5% a day is my goal, but if I can make at least 3% a day, I'll be happy. I just want to make at least 3 to 5, if not more, every single day. So when I'm holding a stock that's this expensive at that with such a small account, it really kind of hinders that success rate, so to say the least. I mean, will I still get that 5% or so? Yes. It's just taking way too long. But let me go ahead and zoom back out because we're only on the 1 day. Let's just look at the 5 day. As you can see, I mean, JDST just trending down of late. If we go out even further, 20 day, or I think I wanted to go to 30 day. I wish they had the 30 right there. Boom. So 30 day of late, as you can see, it had been trending up. You had this little bull pattern, boom, shot up, got rejected right here, came back down. It had still been trending up of late, and I thought that I thought it would not go below this support of around $53 in all honesty. So when it went down to like 50, I was really shocked. But as you can see, the 30 day shows that it is still pretty much well oversold. The SMA indicator kind of shows this bull pattern, so that is also why I think we might see /GC drop and JDST go ahead and trend back on up. But like I said, I'm not a fortune teller or anything. Hopefully we will. Like I said, I want to at least get 60 out of this. But I mean, look right here. I mean, it could reach as high as 65 or 70 in the long run. But I really do not want to hold this more than another week. If I have to hold this by Friday, I'm going to start to get a little antsy in all honesty, but I do think that we are going to go ahead and see JDST trim back up. But I don't want to focus too long on JDST, JNUG, but I mean, or /GC, just because there's just no point in it. Obviously, JNUG continues to go up. JNUG is actually a pretty good potential day trade if you want, because you can see it has a bunch of these. Just let's go ahead and go back into like the 5 day. As you can see, the 5 day, I mean, it has a whole bunch of potential for day trades, because like if you were, I mean, I would never get in like right here because it was just kind of a flat line day and went down. But if you had access to after hours and pre-market hours training, and you were to catch it right here around $13.75 and ride it on up to even just $14.75, $1 profit off of $13.75 is what? $1 divided by $13.75 is what? Over 7% profit, and that's just in one quick little day trade. You would have sold it off right here at around 10:50 in the morning. Major profit, boom, go home. Obviously that's 11:50 Eastern, or 8 on the West Coast. But anyways, point being, early in the morning, boom, you made your quick 7% on with your day. I mean, right there, I'd have been done with the day probably, but that's just me personally. But yeah, JNUG, it still has this potential for a potential day trade. Just be careful with it. One thing that is interesting here is it also, like /GC, continues to trend above its SMA indicator, and as it gets close here, this is just something to really be on the lookout for. That's why I'm not doing nothing with JDST or JNUG currently, like anymore, other than holding my JDST obviously, is because I want to see what happens with these indicators. Is the indicator getting ready to go down? Is it going to break that indicator? Like, is it pretty much SMA kind of acts as like a support or resistance? That's why I've left it on here, because if it goes down and breaks it, then that SMA indicator is then going to become kind of a resistance, a future resistance for it. So what I'm looking for is the indicator going to start curving back down? Is it going to break that indicator and go, as you can see, now this close is kind of flatlined. Obviously it's after market hours and before pre-market hours tomorrow, but what's going to happen essentially. So it's definitely something to be on the lookout for early market hours tomorrow and into the actual market hours tomorrow. So it's just something to be on the lookout for. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you guys ever when to invest in a stock. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm not going to do anything with these two stocks until I see what is going to happen here and what's going to happen with /GC. Let me see if we got any questions here. Nothing as of late. Let me make sure that we're still doing good. Says we're doing all right. 10 minutes already. Wow. Let me go ahead, for those of you that are thinking about maybe penny stocks, hop over to Seed. As you all know, I got burned pretty bad on Seed last week. As you can see, it's been trending down of late. This is what, the last 5 days? Last 5 days, it's gone all the way down to 83 cents. However, why do I have these trend lines right here? Well, let's go ahead and go back out to what, the 180 day, if I remember right. So the 180 day shows that there's been this constant support right around 82 cents. I think around 82. Yeah, right around 82 cents. Every time they hit 82 cents, got rejected, went as far back up to around like $1.15 was like the average support. Obviously, as of late, we went up to like $1.50 plus a couple of times. However, for the most part, there's a support around a resistance around $1.15. So, and another thing also is same thing with the SMA indicator, kind of acts as a support and then a resistance. As you can see, got up near that SMA, boom, went back down. SMA got way above it, boom, went back down. And look, the SMA has kind of flatlined right here. So one thing I'm looking out for is this SMA from like it has the last 180 days, gonna flatline, then go down, flatline, then go down. However, it just started flatlining, what, about the last couple weeks. So one thing to be on the lookout for, look how long it flatlined last time. From 8:29 until about what? Around 11.7. So for like 3 months, it stayed, the SMA kind of flatlined, so to speak. So one thing to be on the lookout for, and it just flatlined what, about, like I said, about 2 weeks ago. So you're looking at possible, if that trend continues, a few weeks of it kind of acting as what? Since it dipped below it, let's go ahead and go to, say, what, 20 day? So it actually looks like it kind of went up some the past few days. But overall, flat line, because not very much movement at all. So what do I see? I see this kind of acting as a resistance, and I still see that 82 cents acting as a support, because if we go to, say, 5 days, you can see it hit 83 cents, and then what happened? It came back up to about 85 cents. Right now, it's sitting right around 85 cents. So what am I going to do? But look at the SMA right here. Once you really zoom in, the SMA is actually still kind of going down. So one thing just to be on the lookout for, and I mean, there's not much wiggle room here. You have from about 83 cents, 82 cents until what, about 88 cents, because this is probably going to continue to trend down some. And as you can see, the RSI shows what? I mean, it doesn't show that it's overbought, but it's definitely not oversold or anything. So one thing to just be on the lookout for this is what's going to happen here. Same thing as kind of with JDST and /GC and JNUG. Just look for it to get rejected by the SMA indicator. Look for some sort of a sell-off again. However, will it test this 82 cent resistance? That is what I'm wanting to look out for. Is it going to? Is this going to possibly trim back up slightly in the next few days? Or like what's going to happen ultimately? Because looking at the MACD indicator, I don't really see anything. I mean, this could be a bear pattern right here. You can see went up, came back down, went up, sell off, went up, little sell off. So I mean, it could just obviously continue to keep trending down. However, if you catch it at the right time, you could, let's say that it kind of just continues to flatline. Let's just say 88 cents would be your quote-unquote resistance. If you get in, wait until 85 cents or 80, let's say you go ahead and invest at 84 and you sell off at 88. Just an example. I'm not saying that's what to do whatsoever, but let's say you make a 4-cent profit off of your 84 cents. You're looking at over 4.5% profit, guys. So for those of you that are into penny stocks, that is why Seed is one to be on the lookout for as a day trade. Never, ever, ever hold penny stocks 99.99% of the time overnight, period, with the exception of one that I found, Acre. That is one that I would potentially hold overnight, but in general, I do not like to hold penny stocks overnight after just my experience with it. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out Acre, by the way, because Acre, it had been trending above 80 cents roughly. Let's go ahead and do 10-day maybe. So the 10-day shows, I kind of drew out some new trend lines. Maybe I need to go out a little further, 20 days. So I kind of drew out some trend lines. As you can see, the SMA indicator going up acted as what? A support. every time it would get below the SMA, what would it do? Boom, go right back up. So what do I look for with Acre? Look at the SMA. It had been shooting up the last week, but look at here. It seems to kind of be taking a slight dip. And if you look right here, this might be bearish right here. So what do I look for the next few days with Acre? I look for it to have a sell-off. How big, I don't know. We might see a sell-off pretty similar to back around the end of February. We might see one where it goes again. I don't see it going down to like 58 cents again or anything. However, I do look for it to test the 70 cents support right here. I look for the SMA to continue to trend down to around that. So am I saying it's going to go as low as 70 cents? Absolutely not. I'm no fortune teller, like I said. Just by these overall patterns, the RSI showing really nothing too much. That like it's not really showing that's overbought. But like I said, the MACD shows that it might be in a bearish, like getting ready to go bearish on us. You can see slightly right here too. So I do think it will go down. How far down, I don't know, but I'm thinking probably around 70 cents, maybe 72, somewhere around there. But obviously the overall pattern, I look for it to go ahead and go back up to probably 82 cents. So let's say it did go down to 70, you waited for a confirmation of a bounce. Say you got in at 72 cents, sold it off at 80, you made 8 cents off of what? A 72-cent investment. So 8 cents divided by your investment of 72. Boom, 11%, over 11%, 11.11% profit, guys. Now, is it going to do that in one day? Probably not, because if you know anything about Acre tends to kind of just do its own thing, kind of not really like a penny stock pattern in all honesty. It's definitely no pump and dump for sure. It's actually a pretty decent company, they are, but it kind of takes a few days to do its overall thing, because look at here. If you got in, this is obviously when I was in and I sold out around here, obviously when it kind of flatlined. But if you were to just stick with it and keep riding it up, then you would have had huge profits. But for most penny stocks, this is not the case. But with Acre, however, if it goes ahead and bounces off and you waited until that 72, quote unquote, not saying it's going to happen at all, but if it did and you waited for that bounce and got in at 72, you're probably looking at a few days, maybe even a week. But that's just why I don't really look into these penny stocks, just because, or any stock that's really going to be more of a week or plus, just because I'm looking for, like I said, 3 to 5% or more per day. That's what I'm looking for, and that is why lately I've been sticking with ETFs and more reputable companies as of late. But if this is your kind of game, that's why I wanted to just point out a couple penny stocks for you guys. Let me see what's going on here. So we're still doing all right. How's that doing? No questions right now. But yeah, anyways, other ones I wanted to talk about are Gush and Drip. Obviously, I've been doing really good on Gush and Drip of late. I've been making 3 to 4% every single time I traded the two. If you look at here, Drip is showing this potential. The MACD slightly shows it too. I thought I was just kind of seeing things at first, but it's showing signs of a potential bull pattern. If you look really close right here, it's showing potential now. This doesn't mean it's actually like gonna happen, but potential of a bull pattern. So I look for it to probably continue up tomorrow. However, I do think it will eventually go ahead and have another sell-off, because as you can see, it kind of trends up for about 2 or 3 days, and what happens? Boom, gets rejected, because by the SMA it gets rejected, and as you can see, this SMA trending down slightly, not too much, but I look for it to probably test around 13 to 13.50. Maybe not 13.50, probably around 13.40, and then I look for it to go ahead and sell off. So for Monday and Tuesday, we might go ahead and see Drip go ahead and continue trending up, like I said, to around 13 at least, probably 13.20, 13.40. As you can see, it does continue to hit new lows. So as it continues to hit new lows, it will also continue to hit new low highs. That's why I don't see it really going above like 14 for damn sure. But apparently I didn't finish my trend lines when I was doing this earlier. But what do I look to continue to happen? Right now it's right around 12.72 or 12.95, whichever one you're looking at here. But what I'm looking for, I do see a possible minor sell-off in the morning. It's just kind of the continuous trend with these ETFs. I look for some sort of a little sell-off. I look for it to probably get around 12.60, which at that point I'll look at getting in. I'm going to, of course, wait for a bounce. When it gets to 12.60, I'm going to wait for it to get to 12.70. So for this case, let's just go ahead and say I get in at 12.69. And then I'm probably going to ride it up here to around 13.25, if I can get it to 13.25. So right there, you're looking at what? 4.4%, guys. So, I mean, that's a just quick potential day trade. I'm probably going to buy. I actually just sold some stuff, so I'm going to invest, I think, around 140 more into my Robinhood account tomorrow morning. On top of that, I think I'm going to have, I don't know exactly how much. I want to say close to 300. I don't know the exact number. I don't have my Robinhood pulled up, like I said, but I'm looking at buying probably at least 10 to 20 shares of DRIP. So if I can make, what would that be when you break it down from a dollar standpoint? You're looking at from 70 to 13.25. You're looking at a 54-cent profit. So you're looking, I'm talking about from a dollar standpoint now, for 54 cents. If you get 20 shares of that, you're looking at what? 1080 right there, just from that. Not big money, like I said, but we're talking about with small accounts. We're just looking at making consistent profits, and 4.4%, that's nothing bad whatsoever. Now, could it sell off and go ahead and hit a new low of, like, say 1170 or 1160 or something? Yes, that is why I'm going to wait, see what happens first thing in the morning. If it looks like it's going to just go ahead and shoot on up in the morning, I'm going to catch it while it goes up, because this could be the lowest it's going to get where it's at right now. It's like I said, around 12.95. So if it hits above 13, I might hold out, just because, like I said, I look for it to get rejected around 13.40. So I mean 40 cents. I mean, let's say you get in at 13. If I can get on up there, 13 right there, and you ride it up to, let's say you go ahead and ride it up to 13.30, then you're only looking at around 2%. I mean, at that point, it's just up to you guys. Me personally, I mean, I might hop on it. It's just going to be a last-second decision for me. I don't know. There's something about it. I just don't feel good about getting in above $13. But if I can get in, say it goes right on up to $12.98 first thing in the morning, I'll probably go ahead and jump on in, as long as it's below $13 for sure. But I am going to make sure that there is not going to be some sort of a sell-off in the morning, because then I'll, of course, go ahead and write it down, see how low it goes, wait for a confirmation, then get in. But yeah, that's, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm never going to tell you guys where to invest in, what time to invest, anything like that. I'm just telling you guys my thought process behind this. I do look for a 4 to 5%, maybe even slightly more potential out of DRIP in a day trade. And then if you go over to Gush, where you're going to see the total opposite. So with Gush, it's obviously been trending up of late. You can see a bull pattern right here, went on up. You can see another little, I don't know if that'd be a bull pattern necessarily, but it did go up some. But now you can see that it's kind of slightly bearish. I mean, I wouldn't really say bearish, but if you just look at the last couple days, it's showing the sign of what? A potential to trend back down down here. So I'm looking at a possible support right around 1250. So what I'm going to do is just write it on down. You see it's at 2290. This says 2294, but I'm looking at this number right here, 2290 currently. So what I'm looking for is it going to go ahead and bounce? Is it actually going to, if it goes above 23, I would probably consider investing then, because let's say you get in at 20, let's say you even wait and get in at 2308. Let's say you did that, wrote it up to that resistance, say you sold off at 24.46, look at that, about 6% profit, guys. So I mean, what would that be from a dollar standpoint? About 138. So I mean, let's say you bought 10 shares of that, what would that be? 138 times 10, you're looking at, boom, 1380. And now obviously it's a more expensive stock. You're looking at 23 times 10, you're looking at $230 a share. But at the end of the day, it's 6%. So there's a potential there. However, I mean, look at this pattern, guys. It's a bear pattern. You see, it came up, got rejected, got rejected. So is it going to continue to sell off? I personally believe so. Like I said, with DRIP and Gush, I'm just going to wait it out, see what happens. I'm not going to wait too long, obviously, but I'm just going to wait it out, see what happens. If it looks like it's going to continue to sell off, I probably won't mess with Gush at all, because DRIP will then be going up. So what am I going to do? Hop over to DRIP, get in, ride it up for 3 to 4% profit, lock in my profits, and then get Gush the next day or next day, whatever. Let me see if we got any questions. So yeah, if you have any questions, great. Kansas defeated Duke. hate Kansas. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely just put them there in the chat. Let me make sure we're still doing all right, actually. Wow, we're only at 24 minutes. I'm actually pretty surprised. I think the only other ones I'm going to talk about are possibly D-Gas and U-Gas. But not too much, just because, like I said, they're more expensive stocks. D-Gas isn't too expensive, but I mean, it's gone up of late. But look at here, I drew some trend lines out. I said that there was potential for a reversal right here, because if you see right here, a pretty decent looking bull pattern right here. Whenever it came down, went up, came down, boom, look at there, started going up. So I mean, if you were to, D-Gas was definitely a good swing trade if you got in. I mean, like, if you were to get in a swing trade, what I would have did was wait for it. There was a little resistance here right around 27. So I would wait for it to break that. So then let's say you waited and got in at 28. Wrote it up from 28, if we can get there, 28. You wrote it up to, let's just say, 31. Looky there. Almost 12% profit, guys. And what? How long? About a week. Let's see, this was the 15th. And the 30 happened on the 23rd. So 8 days. Yeah, about a week. You made 12% profit. You break that down, and what would that be then? How many market days? You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to 7 market days. So you're talking, what, roughly about 2% a day. Nothing huge, but if you can do 2 to 5 on up percent a day, you're going to be doing well off. You're going to be doing what 95% of investors cannot seem to do for some reason, because people allow their emotions and other people's opinion to determine their trades, and when they do that, what happens? You lose money. So that is why I always tell you guys that I'm never going to tell you where to invest. I will tell you guys my strategies, how I analyze these charts, and how, if I look at any news, I really don't take news into too much of a consideration. I'll look at the S&P, the NASDAQ, and all. I mean, they're just, doesn't really affect me too much. Like, the Dow dropped a whole bunch this week. I actually made money. So, I mean, the whole Dow, S&P, all that, it doesn't really seem to make a fuck too much. But, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, Snapchat, another one. We're probably not going to go over too many more, because we've already went over like 6 stocks, maybe even more. But look at here. I pretty much said it wouldn't get past like $17. It seemed to have for just a second, actually. No, I don't think it did. It got, yeah, because I would have got a notification if it did, and it didn't. It got right up there to about $16.97. Boom, got rejected. Like I said, this is probably going to be a resistance, this line I drew. Now, is it going to be exactly on point? Absolutely not. I'm not a fortune teller, or else I'd make a shit ton of money. But, however, this overall is going to act as its resistance as long as Snapchat continues to trend down. If we look at the past, or we're at the 20-day. If we look at the overall 180-day, look, it got up. It seems to be selling off. Obviously, I have a whole bunch of lines here. That's just for future, because if it continues to trend down, I don't see it getting below this, what, $12-ish, $12.70. But that's for a future video. We'll just see if it continues to trend down. However, overall, look for it to continue to trend down this week. I look for it to possibly hit a new low of about 15.55. If it does, I'm going to look for some sort of a bounce. If I can get in around 15.60, ride it up to, say, 16, you're looking at what? 3% profit. Nothing huge, but that is a potential day to 2-day trade at the most. Profits are profits. And lastly, AMD. AMD, a lot of people had a bunch, I mean, the TechBud Solutions, people were talking about AMD for a little bit, about a week ago. I hadn't heard much more about it, so I wanted to take a look at it myself. Overall, I don't really see too much that I'm liking about the overall stock. The RSI is showing slightly oversold. However, every time that it was showing oversold, I mean, it didn't really bounce back or anything. It just kind of continued to trend down. That's why I show my trend line trending down here, because I think if we go to the 180-day, maybe, yeah, the next support that is going to hit is probably around 1031. So I went ahead, and if we go back here to that, I look for it to go ahead and maybe possibly test that next support, which then I would consider maybe hopping in. However, when it hit 1057, look where it's at now, 1063. This says 1141. I don't know why. But 1063. So, I mean, AMD still wanted to be on the lookout for. If it did really bounce up to 1141, I would be shocked. I don't really think that's true. But what I am going to look out for is it going to bounce off of this support right around 1070? I Obviously, it's at 1063 right now, so it's still below that 1070 mark. So I'm going to look to see, is it going to actually bounce and go ahead and go back up? Because if it does, and you hop on it as like a couple day trade, like two days maybe, you're looking at, let's say you sold it off here around a potential resistance around 1125, 5% profit. So, I mean, it's just one to be on the lookout for. However, I do not, now that it's below, it's kind of for the last few hours been below, last few market hours, been below that 1070 mark. I look for it to go ahead and continue to trend down and test that next support. But definitely just another one to be on the lookout for. So, yeah, I don't want to go over every single stock in my watch list. So, if you guys don't have any questions, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap this video up. Let me make sure we're still doing all right. We are. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hopefully it did help you guys out. Hopefully you found a few of these stocks. Hopefully you found that a few of them have some potential like I do. If it helped you out, if it helped you with analyzing charts or anything like that, definitely make sure to smash that like button. I greatly appreciate it. And one last thing, if you're wondering what all these forward slashes are, these are your futures. Like /CL is your crude oil, /GC is your gold futures, and /NG, guess it, natural gas futures. So if you're wondering about that, there's another thing to look out for. This goes hand in hand with like drip and gush, so it's definitely something to be on the lookout for. But anyways, like I said, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys did like it. If you did, definitely make sure to smash the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And if you are new to the channel and just enjoyed this video overall, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button below. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there and making those profits and achieving some financial freedom this year. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.